Richard Sherman recently addressed the critics that he experienced on Twitter and other social media sites. He was called a thug quite a bit after he had that post-game interview on Sunday. Apparently, about 625 people had referred to him as a thug on American television.
So now those are not guys on Twitter, right? I mean, those are people that are on television.
Yeah.
So they're professionals to some degree, right? And they're calling him thug. Look, if you don't know that thug is a code word for the N-word, you're not paying attention. Like, I mean, I know some people are going to flip out, no, that's not true. Look, Incognito was a thug, a bullier who was in the NFL. Richard Sherman in the NFL, right? Incognito was that lineman for the Dolphins that bullied his teammates, and they eventually got kicked. Nobody called him a thug. Nobody called him a thug. And listen to what Richard Sherman's going to say. This is an awesome point.
Yeah, so he told the press the following. I know some thugs, and they know I'm the furthest thing from a thug. I fought that my whole life, just coming from where I'm coming from. Just because you hear Compton, you hear Watts, you hear cities like that, you think thug. He's a gangster, he's this, he's that, and the other. And then you hear Stanford, and they're like, oh man, that doesn't even make sense. That's an oxymoron. So he's referring to his education. He graduated from Stanford.
Okay, so let me explain Richard Sherman for you guys a little bit, because I now love this guy, and I want to defend him totally. Now, remember I said he should have done the choke sign at the end of the game. That's what I thought was over the line, right? Mm-hmm. But outside of that, I'm totally with him. So, number 2 in his class in Compton, okay? He got a 4.2 GPA, okay? His father is a garbage man in L.A., and still does that. So if you live in LA, someday Richard Sherman's dad might come to pick up your garbage, okay? His mom teaches disabled kids. And so after he went to Stanford and went to the NFL, he's actually not that rich because he's still a relatively young player. Now, $550,000 isn't bad, that's good money, but it's not like the tens of millions of dollars that other people make. He still set up a charity to make sure that kids in the inner city got books so that they can read, that they could take home, and they could study, and they can have a fair chance at an education like the one he got, mm-hmm. right? Then he obviously goes to Stanford. At Stanford, they say, oh, you're going to be a wide receiver because you're really fast. And he says, no, third year in, which is a really ballsy call if you know football, because you spent your whole career at that point being a receiver. He said he didn't like it because it was dependent on the quarterback, and he wanted to be just dependent on himself alone. He switches to cornerback, and he says, now I'm going to be judged on my own merits, mm-hmm. okay? And becomes, by a lot of people's estimates, including my own, the top cornerback in the NFL, okay? A couple of years into his career. Why? Because he studies tape. I saw this great interview with him by ESPN about a year ago. And so if you remember the last play, the one that he did that interview about.
Totally remember that, yeah.
Yeah.
It was really
he
good.
Batted the ball. Now that happens all the time, but what you saw in that interview, that he said, if I'm playing against a good receiver and the ball is close, I don't want to try to pick it off, because if he's strong, if the ball's up in the air, he can grab it and get it instead. So what I do is I bat it away so that one of my fellow teammates can pick it off instead.
Wow, that's a good strategy.
Not only is it a really smart strategy, but it's really unselfish to make sure that your team wins, okay? And not try to be the hero there and grab the interception for yourself. And that's exactly what he did on the game-winning play. So this guy studies tape nonstop. He's a leader. He helps other people on the team. He's really smart. And he does all this, never did a violent thing in his life outside of course, the game of football. And at the end of all that, because he had one loud interview where he didn't curse or anything like that, thug. You came out of Compton, you were loud after the game, thug. And by the way, he had said that after the game, he went up to Michael Crabtree and patted him on the back and said, hey, good game. And then Crabtree shoved him, and then he went off, right? Mm-hmm. People are like, that's not true. NFL actually tapes the audio of the games. They went back and looked at it. That's exactly what he said. He was totally right.
Wow.
Okay.
A little bit of a backpedal from you, Cenk. Is that what's happening?
No, I told you. Uh-huh. In that incident, when he did the choke sign, I said that was guilty. Don't do that because you're a good guy and you're doing yourself damage for no reason, right? But overall, not guilty. I love the quote about hockey.
He tried to show examples of actual violence that takes place in sports, and hockey is a good example of that. He said there was a hockey game where they didn't even play hockey. They just threw the puck aside and started fighting. I saw that and said, oh man, I'm the thug? What's going on here?
See, that's such a great point because they fight non-stop in hockey. But since they're white, nobody ever calls them thugs. They're like, oh yeah, that was a good fight at the hockey game. If Richard Sherman just threw down and started punching somebody, they'd be like, oh, the thug to end all thugs, right? Look, I know that the culture of the games are a little different too. I understand that, right? But know the full context of the guy. And when you do, yes, he talks a lot, right? But so do a lot of players. You begin to love the guy. The guy works super hard, is a really smart player, and now oh man, if he beats Peyton Manning in the Super Bowl. Oh, if he picks off Peyton Manning in the Super Bowl. Okay, I'll go from loving Richard Sherman to he's my favorite American. Okay, but wait, hold for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.